Good evening to all. Uh, it's my privilege to have with us today Mr. Bhaskar Joshi, a management consultant, for this webinar talk on the book Seven Sutras of Innovation on behalf of Ahmedabad Management Association. Friends, many startups find scaling up very challenging. However, there are success stories where startups achieve outstanding results with speed, scale, and sustainability. Now, how does this happen? What are the common powerful sutras behind these success stories? Let us hear from Mr. Bhaskar Joshi, who will be giving a talk on this book. Mr. Bhaskar Joshi is a management consultant and has completed MSW from MS University in 1981. He has 35 years of experience in HR in the corporate with corporate experience with Asian Paints, Hindustan Mill, Thapar Group, Ashapura Group, Somaya Group, and many other companies. He has served as past president of the Bombay Management Association. So, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your kind acceptance to be present for this webinar and agreeing to share your book review of this wonderful book. Um, Thank you and welcome to this platform.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Am I audible, Radhika?
Yes, sir, perfect. Please go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay. Good evening. So, thank you, Pandya Saab. Thank you, Radhika. Thank you, Nair Saab. Thank you, Ahmedabad Management Associations. My sincere gratitude to all the participants who have joined. Uh, my thanks to Nikhil Inamdar because he is the one who has written this book and very well written. So it is my privilege, as rightly pointed out by Pandya sir. Uh, Let me take you through book review, but before that, let me say a few words about Ahmedabad Management Associations. I always believe that EMA has done a marvelous job. I have been associated with Ahmedabad Management Association since 1978 when they were operating from Badra. And I have seen their progress. So it's phenomenal. I mean, there are no words to describe. And thanks to members, thanks to committee, thanks to office bearer, thanks to Nair Saab and his entire team who has made it possible. I think this credit goes to them. And if someone has to write on innovation, I think there has to be some case studies on EMA also, because this is a wonderful platform they have created for management professionals, for students, those who are interested in the management. And I think number of programs which they have done in the past, I think amazing. I mean, name it, and those programs and best of the best personalities you had, like CK Prahlad, various people. So that entire credit goes to the members as well as committee as well as president and the team headed by a very dedicated person like Nair sir. So let me take you through book review, and this is what I have in mind. I have collected all the thoughts from Seven Sutras of Innovations, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to present you the facts basically, which I have gathered from the books, and then thereafter I'll present each case studies which I have selected, because looking at the time I can't take all the case studies, so I have restricted to few, and I'll deliberate on this, and then we will leave it to question and answers so that we can take it. So as rightly pointed out by Pandya sir and Radhika, it is seven sutras of innovations, stories of scale-ups that are transforming India. And this is going to be the heart of the book. The book has been supported by Marico Foundation, the founded by Harsh Mariwala in 2003. And let me say a few words about Harsh Mariwala. He is a promoter, family owned organizations, but highly professional group of companies, and a wonderful way of working. And they are the one who has introduced seven sutras of innovations, the main theme, as well as number of articles, number of books, number of awards they have given, number of conferences they have done on innovation. So entire credit goes to Harsh Mariwala and Marico Foundation for pioneering work which they have done. He says it is a journey of a self-discovery. And if you, I'll take you through. Uh, I'll come back to slide little later on. Radhika, jara hold pakad ke rakhna. So it's a journey for self-discovery. It is going to be a very innovative approach in terms of because uh, the main emphasis is on something to find out one own self. And when you invite innovations, when you say that it is innovative company, it is not a one person journey. It's a team which matters a lot. So everyone contributes. And this is what book says. In order to remain front runners, one has to remain innovative. That is going to be the main theme. And it creates a place, shape, space for people to share, collaborate, and innovate thinking. To come out with brilliant ideas, deliberate, discuss, and then execute. And in 2009, the Marico Foundation released the first book of innovation, which was a great success. The name of the book was Making a Breakthrough Innovation Happens. That was the first book. Now, some of the questions we would like to ask during these presentations. Can an organization be innovative with legacy mindset? That is question number one. Can new challenges take on established giants through their entrepreneurial visions? Third, do organizations need to set orbit shifting challenges in order to make a dent? And to answer these questions, let us go through the presentations and let's find out an answer. Radhika, next slide, please. Okay. So Pandya Sahab has rightly pointed out, these are the new organizations, and if you see their history, it is almost 10 years or maybe 15 years. So they are quite young at the heart. Scaling up a business is not same as starting a new one. So starting a new one is also difficult, but to nurture the present one creates a lot of difficulties. So scaling up is all about providing a business with a proper care and nutrition. It is like a small plant, which requires a lot of care. A good way to find out would be from innovators who have achieved and learned a hard lessons. Now, the word which is very important is a hard lessons. The journey has not been that easy. There has been a failure. There has been a tough time, right? And it is a continuous process. It is a continuous process, and the people kept on reviewing the process and correcting themselves. So these are the good case studies which Nikhil Inamdar has presented, very precise in terms of information. And Nikhil Inamdar in his introduction also says that it is learning from others. You don't learn only from yourself, you learn from others also. So that is going to be the another key insight we will be having it. Radhika, next please. So this entire book has been supported and guided, directed, or inspired by Marico Foundation's Innovation Foundation, which Harsh Mariwala is a key architect. These books, if I talk, it covers 8 awardees and each different in all manners, and which I'll take you through the journey. They all have followed 7 sutras of scaling up or universal principles in their journey of success. There is a common thread which you can see. And this is going to be amazing story. And I'll be talking briefly on each case studies first, and then I'll take you 2 to 3 to 4 case studies in details. So this is going to be our way of following. Can we have next slide, Radhika? Okay. Alarm. Career. Okay. So let's go through some of the principle which books talks about it. And this is something which is very fundamental, and I really liked it. What it says: find a gap in the market and create a market in the gap. Very well said. So the emphasize that what is missing and replace with the concrete actions. And this is a job. This is a great opportunity for entrepreneurs. Find a gap in market and create a market in the gap. I think very well said. Gap in the market, that means you need to identify that what is missing, and that is a great opportunity for to start something new, something very innovative. So that is going to be the key challenge. Second, be firm but flexible, set clear goals, keep evaluating and changing as they grow. As you grow, you need to be very firm on your goal, in your target, but you need to be flexible also. You can't, uh, you have a rigidity, and you have to set your goals very clearly. What exactly you want to achieve, and evaluate, discuss, debate with your team, and as a changing they and changing as they grow. So the moment you start going through a change, then only it will have a effect. Third, I think a book rightly mentions the keep customers at the core. Ultimately, you serve the customers. Your salary comes from customers. So customers are going to be the king. So unless and until you talk to them, you take their feedback, you see their improvement in terms of their own understanding, then only it is going to succeed. So keep the customers at the core. And the last one, he says that be careful about the capital, which we have realized in the COVID time, that how cash plays an important role. Review often what went right and what went wrong. I think this is where any startup or any scaling, I think we need to take into account in terms of which are the pluses and which are the minuses, and where did we go wrong. What customer want basically. Do we have a feedback mechanism in order to understand that what is going on? Are they happy with our product? Are they you know uh, uh, they want to come back again and again, or it is the last time they have come to us? And they are not going to say anything to you. If they don't like, they will not turn up. That's all. Some people are great enough, they will come and give you feedback. So some people, they say it's a wastage of time. It is up to us to decide. So don't neglect it. That is a message we have. And cash is a king. I think COVID time has shown a number of things, and we are quite conscious in terms of how company, how individual has gone through the cash difficulties, and how to overcome it. That is going to be another challenge we have. Next, this talks about the main role of HR, hire for passion. I think if you see the common thread of all the organizations, you will come across dedicated people. Dedicated people, they are the one who has brought this change. So the key element is technology and HR. If you see any organization success, I think two things emerges very well. One is a technical aspect, the technology they use it, and the second one, the person who moves this technology, that is human resource, that is HR. And it is not only a job of HR people, it is basically each individual who plays a very key role. It is all about dedication, it is all about passionate. And this is not a one man army, this is not a job of only HR, but everyone who is involved in this process, they are the one. And organizations will be built by dedicated people. It is difficult to get a right person. Ask any HR person, and they will have a lot of dilemma. Second, build culture of innovations. I think Marico is one good organization. Hindustan Unilever is another good organization. Procter and Gamble is another good organization. ITC, Indian Tobacco Company, is another good organization. Amul, I think our own, we are proud of Dr. Kurian and his achievement. This is one organization you need to study in details, that what kind of an innovations they have done in their product. And that is the reason they are ahead, and they are still continuing on number one position. That also brings to fact that failure is a part of innovations. Nothing to worry. I think if you have to succeed, you may have to fail also. But only thing, you have to come back. You have to rise. You have to have a resilient approach. So it also says that think, experiment. First of all, conceptualization becomes very, very important, and then experiment also becomes very, very. If you don't experiment, nothing is going to succeed. Many times you may fail also, but that's a part of the journey. Can't help it. And in process, you build a resilience. What is resilience? Like, don't giving up. Let's not give up. Try again and again till you achieve it. So bouncing back from the scratch, and it encourages diversity of ideas, opinions, etc. Right? So many times, what happens? The person who brings a news, we shoot him. So English, we say that don't shoot the messenger. He just brought the news. That's all. Otherwise, if you see the history, I think there is something wrong with your product. There is something wrong with your way of working, and as a result, this result has come. So the person who brings this news, don't shoot him. I think take his feedback very, very critically. It encourages diversity of ideas, opinions, etc. I think that is also very, very important. And the last one, constantly expand on your visions. That means you started with something. Now it is a time that you move to the next level. So that is also going to be the best possible. Can we have the next slide, please? Okay, if you see the common thread that runs through the scale-up journey of all 8 organizations, which has been covered very well in the book, are big in terms of their thinking, bold and ambitious. Right? 3 words which Nikhil has used: big, bold, and ambitious. So if you see the common thread of all the 8 organization, 8 case studies which book covers, I think this is going to be the heart: big, bold, and ambitious. So let me take you through 8 case studies which book gives you, and we start with the first one, Gunj. That's the name of an organization. And this is an organization that has created a parallel cashless economy using old clothes as currency for development across large sections of India. What they have done, urban surplus as a currency for rural development. That means whatever extra that you have, clothes or any unwanted items, you can give it to Gunj, and Gunj will pack it in a better way and will pass it on to poor people. Right? Redefine the idea of charity. Charity, that means I give you something, so I take a pride. And what happens to the dignity of an individual, the one who receives it? So they say that giver and taker both are important, and we respect both. Shifting focus from giving from donor's pride to receiver's dignity. I think this is very, very important, and this is where Gunj plays a very, very important role. Next. Radhika, can we move to the next, please? Okay. This is the second case study talks about, and you'll have to go much in details because looking at the time, I cannot go into the details, but I'll give you a lot of hints and then you'll have to read a book. Fortunately, Ahmedabad Management Association has a book in library, or you can download also. You can go through YouTube also. You can see the live demonstrations by the author himself. So second case study is forest health. And this case study is basically device based on a device actionable low cost solutions to prevent avoidable blindness and saving millions of people from being robbed of their visions. And I think if I recall, Arvind Eye Hospital in Chennai, and then Pondicherry, and thereafter in other countries also, another state also, is a classical example. the kind of revolutions which they have brought. And that also shows that we are not equipped with the kind of health facilities that we should have in India. Even rural population still suffers from this deficit, and we are not able to recover it. No, not many doctors you will find in rural areas. Forget about hospital. So as a India, we do need five-star hospitals, but we need more PHC who can serve the common person, who the last person in the row in most particularly villages. Third, now this is amazing story, and I think a young boy called Mr. Jala who has done a tremendous work in Ahmedabad. I forgot his name. He is associated with ISRO and other organizations. And whosoever has done it, this is something which is very, very unique in terms of, and that is the reason we say it's an innovation. It is something very different. The stories of Tonbo Imagining has developed a game-changing, nature-inspired imagining technology for armed forces across the globe. And you have seen the Uri incidents where how many people, how many soldiers were killed. And this is where he felt that we need to do something about it. And he established, some kind of a mechanism, devices, which can see, even in the dark also, which can see through tunnels, and it can save hundreds of lives of our important soldiers. So again, the wonderful case studies on Tonbo imagining. And this is the case studies, I'll go into the details. Next one. Radhika, can we move to the next slide, please? The Better India. Every day when you get up and open the news, you will get a headache. You will not be very happy because many people died. Many people, something happened. Petrol price gone up. Political parties make hue and cry. COVID news, and you are very unhappy in the morning itself. So this is a digital tool of all the good there is in the world, amplifying the impact of heroes, reformers, and inspired positive actions. Was brought by two uh, people from Bangalore. They said enough is enough as far as negativity is concerned. We would like to spread the positivity, and that is where these both the people came from Bangalore, and they established the Better India. He said, let us collect those news which makes a lot of positive impact on the society. There are negativity, there are negative things, but nothing to take on. So he said, let us concentrate more on a positivity. And now, if you see, this is another case studies I'll be taking it. Uh, uh, this two gentlemen from Bangalore, and I'll go into the details in the next case studies. The fifth one, Agastya International Foundation, has a mission to ignite India's young minds. Again, inspiration force was Dr. Abdul Kalam. From the bottom of replacing rotten learning systems with a real life learning among the poorest of students. I think if you go back to Bhavnagar and if you go back to Nanabai Bhatt and others, even Gandhiji also, I think these kind of stories you will come across. So similar stories you will find in the past also, and it is more of a life enriching experience rather than going through a formal education. Gujarat Vidyapith has been a pioneer in work. They have been doing it. So, and especially those backward states like Northeast, Bihar, Orissa, Jharkhand, UP, and you must have seen the story of Anand Kumar from Bihar, the one who has helped many young students to aspire for IIT and IIM and has done a wonderful job. You must go through his book also. Next, please. I think Ahmedabad, we are quite aware about ISRO, Indian Space Research Organizations, have proved through mission Mangalyaan and many initiatives how galaxies can be traversed with a frugal engineering. And all credit goes to Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, Dr. Bhabha, Dr. Abdul Kalam, Kasturbai Lalbai was the pioneer as far as this initiative is concerned. So this is another case studies which gives you a lot of food for thoughts, insight. Seventh, Rivigo has shown how logistics can be hypertech enabled and human pioneering relay model in surface transport. And this is what railway also follows. This is what airlines also follows. But this gentleman did a wonderful job. He said these truck drivers who drives in and out country, they travel for a long, from Ahmedabad to Bangalore, Chennai, and takes almost 4 days. So instead of traveling all alone, through, can we break the journey and can we have some systems where person takes over after 8 hours, 9 hours, and the same model keeps on moving it, and he can be back at his residence, he can spend time with his family, and he can be a happy person. So that is another thing. Rivigo is another good state. And the last one, Saint Jude. This is a very inspiring story, very touching story. And this is pioneering work this gentleman, after retiring from Hindustan Levers, he has done in intervention of pediatric cancer, the small child cancer care, and recovery of patients. This is another good examples we have. So these are the 8 case studies the book covers. If you want to go into the details, you can go through the book and you will get a lot of insight. So I'll start with 2 to 3 case studies, and then I'll stop, and uh, we'll take on some questions in case if it is there. Radhika, can we move to the next slide? Sorry. This is the first case studies of St. Jude's. This is a crusade against cancer, and more particularly the children cancer, the pediatric cancer. This is a story of Harshal Mane, young boy who has a blood cancer. Surgery almost cost us 15 lakhs, and parents decides to take him to the Bombay hospital, the Makkah of cancer, the Tata Memorial, established by Tata Group of Industries. The main challenge was to look for a temporary accommodations, because once he is discharged from the hospital, there is no place to stay. And in place like Bombay, accommodation becomes very, very important, very difficult also. So here, a lot of volunteers, if you travel to Tata Memorial Hospital Parade, you will find a lot of people sleeping on a footpath. That scene you can't forget. And happy to share that our own Gujarati community, Maharashtrian community, they are at the help. They serve morning breakfast onwards to dinner. Everything is given free of cost to these people who are on the footpath. I think that is a great humanitarian work. Our people from Gujarat and Maharashtra, they did it. So hats off to them. Can we move to the next one, please? So these are the people who are on the street, and Saint Jude is one of kind of an NGO who provides thousands of non-affording children a roof over their head. So they are the one who manages. They have hired the flats. They have asked people to accommodate patients once they are discharged, and especially children, because they are the very innocent and they are the most needy people. And St. Jude has done a tremendous work. It was established in 2005 by Nikhil, a career professionals from Hindustan Lever. He retired Indonesia, and he decided that no one should die because of lack of space, lack of medical facilities, and he was the one who created this NGO, and many thousand volunteers who joined, young educated people, and today it is one of the great success story in Mumbai. So that is what it is. Jude is talked. St. Jude talks about it. Next. According to the Tata Hospital director, nearly 30 to 40% pediatric patients leave treatment due to socioeconomic compulsions. And this is a fact. Why? Because either they can't afford the treatment, though Tata gives a lot of subsidies, even the free also many times, but traveling, continuous medical expense. So many times you will find that there is a dropout, and 30 to 40% pediatric patients leave the treatment. And the answer is, the fate is that it's a loss to the humankind. The motto which these organizations have: think big, start small, and move fast. He said speed matters, the, the, the objective matters, and it is the social concerns which matters. And he said that once you decide to do something, move fast. Don't wait. Things will start moving, and this is what they did, and they have a wonderful journey so far. Can I have Radhika next slide, please? So business insights from St. Jude's journey. I think one is a flexible approach, constantly evaluates its model to adopt suits new environment. That means you need to keep on changing your way of working, because there will be a lot of situations where you need to modify, you need to correct yourself. Customers, I think the patient post-treatment can and improve survival outcome. And I think if there is a data which book has not given, but I am sure those data are very positive. I think organization has really. And the last one, providing personalized and nutritious food. That is another initiative. They said that these people, they do not have money, they are poor, so provide them with a good food, very nutritious food. And these volunteers also, they help them in serving them. So that is another good thing they do about it. Next. While in hospital, this is another good initiative they have done. I think Times of India did it long back. While in hospital, child gets an educational help also. So they are not left without studies. There is someone, there are volunteers who goes and teach them. They are also very conscious about the capital, money which they have gathered, and there are no big events. It is money collected through donors and money well spent. They keep a eye on each rupee cent on the cause. And the last one, these are the voluntary group, hiring passionate individual. Hiring in the sense they don't hire on a professional basis, but they ask for a help. They ask for a volunteers. They said, we need your time. Please come and give it to us and help us. And in case if you can bring some money also, well and good, but we don't insist. Please come and join and give your time, give your help to the individual who needs it very badly. So this is another good case study worth going through. Okay, Radhika, move to the next one. This is a good case studies on Better India. Good news is the great news. That's the title of the book, of the chapter. That good news is the great news. It was a brainchild of Dimant and Anuradha Parekh, who settled in Bangalore, who started Weekend Blog that gives the positive stories across the country. Not only Karnataka, but all over the country. And it talks about positivity of power. Positivity is a power, right? And business media, which thrives on a scandals, crime has a less positive story to share. And they said that let's capture what is going on right, rather than. So there is a philosophy that we don't want to hide, we don't want to escape the reality. Negativity is going to be the reality. There are events which we can't prevent. It is going to be there. But he said, why can't there are a lot of negativity? Why can't we decide on positivity and do something about it? And that is where the case study is really helpful. And this is also a very innovative approach they took. Next, please. The Better India was established in 2008. It's a Bangalore-based digital media portal dedicated to cover only positive story from country, to inform readers, inspire, and generate a large-scale impact. Ultimately, what they feel that by positivity, I think people will get inspired and they will do a positive things. And this is very true. The outcome: 50 million people read every month from 120 countries. It started in Karnataka, went to Pura Bharat, and now it is 120 countries which has covered. Look at the scale, look at the size. I think wonderful work this couple has done. The idea Better India came as a result of the empathetic deficit of good news. I think the word which is very, very important is empathetic deficit. Something which is missing, which is something which I really do not know. there is a deficit, there is a positivity, it is not there. In good news, in the mainstream India, because they are commercial, they look for money, they look for a TRP. They say that nation wants to know. Now, what nation wants to know, only he knows. But this is very important. And the outcome is 50 million people read every day, every month from 120 countries, their blog. Next, please. This is the third case studies, Forest Hall Health, and I think their inspiration has been Arvind Eye Hospital, which is based in Chennai. And this is one book. The visionary, after retiring from Government of India, he and his family started Arvind Eye Hospital. And this is a great, I think, C.K. Prahlad, when he came to IIM and Ahmedabad Management Association's program, if I remember correctly, I think this is the case study he had presented, and there was a team from Arvind Eye Hospital, and he has been quoting this example again and again in his book also. It was established by Philip India, the company, India employees, K. Chandrasekhar and Dr. Shyam Rao. They were the employees of Philip India. They were the one who started. And since its inception in 2010, the company has made a singular mission to prevent avoidable blindness using cutting edge technology to detect eye elements quickly and cheaply. The words which are too important is quickly and cheaply. Go to any hospitals in Ahmedabad, Baroda, or Bombay, and you will see the price of eye care, which no ordinary person can ever afford it. So my question is that you require a five-star hospitals where rich people can go, but you require a more hospitals at PHC level, at a taluka level, at a district level, where they can go and take an advantage. I think this is the need of an hour, and this is where the Forest Health has done a tremendous work. Next, please. The fact is that 80% blind is preventable. Blindness is preventable. So you can imagine that if proper care is given, 80% of blindness can be avoided, can be preventable. The difficulty, the patient illiteracy, the problem we find because they are illiterate, their paying capacity, lack of medical infrastructure, mainly in rural areas, and this hampers the entire operations. The outcome with this initiative, with this innovation, the outcome, they have a presence in 34 countries and 24 devices they have installed and 3.5 million beneficiary and 6 lakhs people saved from the losing their vision. It's an amazing one. Hats off to them. And this has made it possible. What one person can do, I think this is a glaring example. Only think innovations, you have to have a commitment, you have to have a focus, you have to have a vision, you have to have something in your mind that you want to do something for the society. And uh, this is the outcome of this NGO. Next, please. The inspiration, as I rightly said, Arvind Eye Hospital, three mantras they follow, and part of their management philosophy: accessibility, affordability, and advanced technology. Rightly said, it should be available to all, it should be affordable to everyone. And how can I use advanced technology to make them happy? And this is where they have used. And keep a sharp focus. Don't move away from uh, uh, theme, the main goal. And this is where they are going to have a lot of work with the patients. Okay, next, please. The business insights. I think Radhika, move to the next slide, please. Business insights, eradicating preventable blindness, defining the target market. Target market means more rural market, and customer feedback, whether customer is really happy. This is a good mechanism they have established. Uh, can we go to the next slide, please? Radhika, can we go to the next? Okay, and this is the uh, last case studies I'll take, and then we will stop. This is amazing story. This is one of the best case studies which I have come across. That is Tonbo imagining. On 18 September 2016, terrorist attacks Indian army and killed 19 soldiers in Uri. I think there was a movie also in Kashmir. The question was how terrorists breached the army's three-tier counter security systems and they could succeed in killing our own soldiers, which was horrible. Next, please. And this is the story of a Bangalore-based Tonbo Imagineering. It was established in 2008 by BITS Pilani alumni Lakshmi Kumar. This was his brainchild. The objective was to create intelligent imagining systems to build sophisticated imaging technology for the forces, particularly for the armed forces. So you can save the life of thousands and hundreds of our Jawans. And this is where he did a wonderful job. Can we go to the next slide, please, Radhika? The name Tonbo means dragonfly in Japanese. I repeat once again. The name Tonbo means dragonfly in Japanese. And now pay the attention. It is the insect which has a 40,000 eyes. Just imagine the insect has a 40,000 eyes and each with a proper sensor, very sharp sensor and processor itself. The dragonfly sends the data from all the eyes and combines it together to process a final high resolution image. And it warms, it gives you a lot of data that what is coming in. Next, please. The name Tonbo means, just go back to the last previous slide, Radhika. Okay, okay. Next, please. 1 minute. Okay, okay. Yes, next, please. Radhika, next, please. Okay. It compounded structure allows it to perform all kind of an amazing maneuvers, giving it clear sights through low light conditions and helping to navigate difficult terrain such as narrow tunnels in lightning speed. I think this is a great insight, great work by this gentleman, where it can go to a very difficult terrain and it can find out in terms of sensing that what is going on, and it can capture the data and pass it on to the people that there is a danger ahead, and that can really save the life. The gentleman who has done, some of you may be familiar with his work, is Mr. Jala from Ahmedabad, and he has done a similar work for the forces. Very young boy, very dynamic person, and wonderful work he has. I thought just to share with you. And this is a message nature shows us that multiple eyes are better than one. We have a limitations. We have only two eyes. But nature gives there are a lot of learnings from nature that nature shows the multiple eyes are better than one. And that is going to really help us in order to save our Jawan's life. Next. At Tonbo founder, I think the word which is very important is the disrupt, the fundamental tech in use behind cameras. What he did with his technological background, he made through, something which is very extraordinary to disrupt the fundamentals technology and use behind the cameras and the systems which he has used. He thought we could borrow biology to build better cameras for the militaries, and Tonbo is that insect can give him a lot of food for thoughts. At Tonbo, they manufacture advanced imagining systems and sensor systems and night vision device. This is where the problem starts. Daytime it is possible to see, but what happens to once dark night takes place? And this is where vision devices that work in a complex environment plays a very important role, and it gives you a lot of food for thoughts that what is coming in, and you can prevent any attacks. You can prevent our Jawans from killing. Next, key insights from Tonbo. I think the one, and this is innovations. This is the common thread you will come across every case studies which you go through this book, imagination is a prerequisite. Without imagination, nothing happens. First, it is conceptualized by an individual. Then it's a vision, and then it is an action. Then it is an actions. So this is also very important. Out of box thinking, something very different that you can't even imagine. Third, creating a flat organizations. I think speed matters, quick decision making. And I saw Nitin Gadkari's YouTube video. Uh, the building which uh, they started building in Delhi in Manmohan Singh's time, they could complete in Gadkari's time in a second term. This is the efficiency of our government, our own department. And Nitin Gadkari was very upset. He said that it took 15 years to complete one building. How is it possible? This is where we work. And this is something shameful. I mean, he didn't play with the words. He was very harsh on the babus, the IS officers, and government officials, that you people have established a credential which people would not like to follow. And this is a shameful act that it took 15 years to establish one particular bhavan. By the time you must have built many bhavans, many buildings. So speed matters a lot. Giving us freedom to operate, and failure is inevitable. Allow them to fail, because this is where you are going to bounce back. These are the learnings. And this is what he says, that hire the smart young people. And this also, I came across a book written by Sam Petroda, C. Dot, and he said that give me 25 young people from electronics and I'll make it. Thanks to Rajiv Gandhi that he was brought in. And today, the IT backbone, it is only because of this gentleman that we can't forget it. And Desh Bhakti at the heart, need to do something for Jawans, need to do something for Bharat, Matrubhumi and Karmabhumi, both. So Desh Bhakti also matters a lot. And the last one, which is very important, he said that use technology, because this is where things are going to be improved. And this is a common thread you will come across all the case studies, that use of technology has been the main source of their work. So to conclude, I think common thread, I have not written down, but I'll just take 2 minutes and then we close it. Common thread among all case studies, and 3-4 case studies I have not covered because of lack of time. But the purpose is to do something better for the society. This has been the heart of all case studies which has been there. Use of technology matters a lot, and this you can use it at your advantage. Passion, dedications, vision becomes a very important factor. Resilience, not giving up, believe in yourself is another motto they follow. Conviction in thoughts that whatever you want to do, you can do it. You need people, you need dedicated people. You have to have a cause. You have to try. You may have to fail also, but that's a part of the game. And the last word which says that you can make the difference. I think the word which is very important in a rotten society where a lot of negativity is there, you can make the difference. It starts with you. Don't give up. And better use of resources. And long-term vision also plays a very important role. Deep thinking, brainstorming, taking people along with you. Desh Bhakti, and the last but not the least, uh, deep thinking uh, and use of technology plays a very important role. I think these are the key takeaway from this book, and a number of examples which he has given are amazing. My request you to go through the case studies. This will give you a lot of insights, because 1 hour can't cover everything. But this is what I thought I should share with you. Over to you, Radhika. If you have anything, we can take on.